When life takes everything from you twice, how do you come back stronger? Today's guest has over 350 stitches in his body, businesses built and lost, and the kind of perseverance most people never see. His story will change how you look at struggle. Phil Bamford isn't your everyday entrepreneur. At 40, he lost a thriving business, his house, his marriage, and nearly his life. Diagnosed with kidney failure, told he was unemployable, he still found a way to fight back. Building online WHS from scratch on 385 spreadsheets with zero funding and no coding background. Then he lost it all again. But instead of quitting, Phil started over at 61 with ReferUs Network, a groundbreaking referral platform to transform how businesses grow through word of mouth. And I'm really excited by the platform. And Phil, welcome to Attention is the Currency.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, and so great to have you on the show today. And Phil, there's a lot to unpack there. Everyone that's listened to the intro is probably going, "Wow, that's so much." And so we're gonna go through a lot of this because the audience will be curious about a lot of things. Can you take us right back to the day you heard your business was gone?
Which one?
Yeah, well maybe
So,
the,
so
the first one, and then we'll go to the second one.
yeah. Well, basically, my background was I was a top professional squash player, and our team won multiple state championships. And I was also managing this large squash and fitness center. Took it from 600,000 to 1.5 million. But then I was given an offer to take over this rundown aquatic swimming pool. So, which was one of those council 50-meter Olympic pool, learn to swim pool, and all that kind of stuff. And that was in 1996. It was taking around about 320,000 a year, but with a couple of changes and a couple of modifications and clever marketing and so forth, 5 years later I was taking 2.5 million. So but the problem is that Balkan Mills Council at that period of time thought, well, hang on a sec, this thing's taking 2.5 million. They own the lease. At the end of the lease, we're going to take this back and actually get that money for ourselves, which they did. So at the end of the term of my lease, they literally terminated my lease. They put in a management group, and my then lovely wife, and I had two children, two young children. She basically, because I was also diagnosed with kidney failure just before I lost the lease, kind of thing. She said, "Well, who's going to employ a 40-year-old with no qualifications and about to go on dialysis?" So I lost that business and lost my house. She ran away with her ex-boyfriend, who was quite wealthy. Very wealthy, and he's not a bad bloke actually. So and yeah, so I got my kids on access and so forth, but I literally had $0 because council decided when they took the lease back, we had $2 million worth of assets in that facility, and one of the directors of the chamber, sorry, of the council, said, "Look, we'll give you $200,000 for it." And we've gone, "You've got to be kidding!" And he goes, "Well, okay, we'll pick it up and take it away," because he knew he couldn't. So they gave us literally only $100,000 for our assets worth $2 million. Then they made us pay redundancies on top of that, which then I had to tell my wife that our debt was around the company's debt was 300,000. What this council left us with, even though we should have had a massive profit. And I had a really nice house in Castle Hill that I bought and built from scratch, just off the plan kind of thing. And so I had to tell her, well, by the way, we're going to have to sell the house so I can put $150,000 into that debt. And she went, no, just tell them that you're bankrupt and you got no money and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not that kind of person. So I said, look, at the end of the day, this person gave us the opportunity in the 50% partnership of Waves. And we've been earning all this really good money. You're lived a good life and so forth. At the end of the day, we own 50%, so we got to pay 50% of the debt. It's not this person's fault; it's the council's fault. That's what they've done. So we had to sell the house, and she really never forgave me for that. And we I put gave all that away. And anyway, I had the rest of the money I put into her father's account, and literally he bought a house, and he said, "Oh, this is your house, is yours," and all that kind of stuff. But our marriage was kind of dissolving,
Mm.
rapidly, and she ended up leaving and going to this other guy, and living in the house because it was her father's house. And so I won't get into the other nitty gritty. I don't
Yeah,
want to get
yeah,
into
definitely.
legal
Well,
kind
it's
of thing, but
well, I think well, it's a lot to carry, and no doubt, well, a lot of people can relate with even a part of that. And but how did you find the strength to even get out of bed and start again after going through all of that?
yeah, I've got a lot of good support systems, and if anyone has, you know, going through trouble, is that I mean I've got a fantastic family, so like very close to my mum and my brothers and my and my twin sister, and basically it's they've really helped me, and then I've got really close friends like Justin and some other really close friends of mine, who know who they are. That like I can always talk to and bounce off and just keep on going. But my point of view is that you could go, oh, what was me, of whatever it may be, but you're still alive and you just got to keep on going. And it, ever since, like, say, for an example, back even in the squash days, like when I was playing squash, and I was playing A grade squash at that stage, just because I only just started playing squash when I was 18, but I was playing first grade by the time I was 23. It This coach told me, he goes, "Oh, you'll never get first grade because your backhand's no good." So I trained all day, all night, 7 days a week on that backhand, and I got to first grade pretty quickly, to the point we won championships. Because he told me I couldn't do it, I was determined to show him that I could, just to stick it up him, so to speak. And then the same thing, like, say, for an example, when I lost waves through no fault of my own, and just a greedy counsel, and she left me, and I can understand why she left me. I had no money, I and was about to go on dialysis. So, but still, yeah, a decent kind of wife would have stuck with it, I think. Anyway,
Yeah,
so but
yeah,
I won't bag her out, and she made her decisions and so forth. It but I've gone, well, when she said those words, "Who's going to employ a 40-year-old with no qualifications and about to go on dialysis?" That really irked me. So it was, again, someone telling me something I can't do. So, and that drove me to create online WHS. So with no formal coding or no formal kind of process, but I was really good at safety. I had a lot of safety systems at Waves that I put in there. And I was very lucky. Like, we had this retired old Hungarian person who used to come to the gym every single day, and he used to be the safety officer for CSIRO, and he used to mark the master's papers. Unbelievably smart, and it was like having my own mentor for safety, and he taught me everything that I need to know. So, and that's where kind of I built systems for Waves, which I won national awards, and so I won the major award for aquatics in the year 1999, and then I won the key to Shanghai from the Shanghai Sports Federation in year 2000. So it from systems that I put in place. So it and that really could put me in good stead creating online WHS. So it just using Excel spreadsheets, I did the whole design, and then I needed someone to do the coding. So I sourced this company overseas, which I still actually communicate with today. So that was 20 years ago. And that product went on to basically be used by every racecourse in New South Wales. It was used by Questacon, Fujifilms, Bundaberg Breweries, other major corporations, but councils across Australia. But the big contract was the Western Australian government. So, and I won that contract over every other system in the world went for that contract, and they chose online WHS. So,
Yeah, that's what. Well, yeah. Well, you're definitely not a man that I've only known you briefly. You're not a man that identifies as a victim, although all these things that have happened to you. There's a lot of people that would just close off and not keep going. It's yeah, it's inspiring for all the people listening around the WHS business. What was the biggest technical or business hurdle that you had to push through?
it's well, the thing is that I was in partnership with a good friend of mine, and then he ran out of money, and we got this other guy involved, and let's just say he wasn't wasn't the right fit. That's probably the nicest way to put it.
Yes.
So, and then I had this other investor actually invest in the company, and which was he allowed and helped to grow and do things and so forth, which was great. But again, like he was a majority shareholder because I had no money because of waves, and we had a bit of a falling out. I won't get into the details because you know he's very litigious. So so yeah, so we had a falling out, and basically I left there last April. At April as in last year. So and that's where I started creating ReferUs again with Justin.
Yeah. Well, when that company went as well, what did you sort of say to yourself?
Yep.
Because it's sort of a yeah. Well, sometimes I know that the entrepreneurial cycle. I've had this before where I've gone from one thing, it's gone really really well, and then something else happens, and then something else happens. What's the next thing? To well, what do you say to yourself?
Yeah, well, it's like, say, for an example, when I did lose waves, I've gone, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I am going to be going on dialysis, and dialysis means that I was going to be doing dialysis 5 times a day, every day of my life. So there's no break. You're going to have a day off. So and if you don't do it so many times, that 5 times a day, some people do it 4, but I had to do it 5 because of the condition I was in. If I didn't do it, I was in a lot of trouble. So and so it was either either do this or just sit here and be, oh, woe is me, and do nothing. So, and that's why, like, say, for an example, um, she was driving around in this brand new Porsche and all that kind of stuff. And here I am living in a garage at my parents' place with no money at all. And I've just gone, what can I do? I'm going to go on dialysis. So I can't do any physical kind of labor, and I can't do kind of stuff like that. And then I thought, you know what? I already created a software system, funnily enough, with Justin as well. So we drew up where is the money? It was in Harvey Norman. So and that was kind of my first ever software system. And then you're looking at uh, so I knew I could actually create things, and that's where I sat down and I mapped out online WHS with 385 Excel spreadsheets and did every single design, did every single form, every single page, every single flow process. So I still actually got that Excel spreadsheet just to be, a bit of inspiration. So and it was either do that or just give up, and I'm not a person that gives up.
You are a visionary because it's yeah, things are there, and when things come to click together, yeah, always find that other external factors, and I think other entrepreneurs can relate. There's things that are out of your control.
That's right.
There always is, and from health to other people in your life, to investors, to business partners, the lot. And yeah, I think it's definitely from everything you say, Phil. It's all about accepting that those things are out of your control, and what are you going to do to make the
Yeah,
impact?
there's nothing you can do. Like, say, for an example, going on dialysis, there's nothing I could do to change that. So I just had to face reality and actually, okay, I must admit, I was absolutely petrified because you don't know what you're going to go through.
Yeah,
So, and then you're looking at going, okay, well, what is dialysis kind of thing? And then you had a choice. Either you have the dialysis in your arm and you go to the hospital for 7 hours, 3 times a week, or you can actually do it where you've got a valve put in your stomach with a tube sticking out of your stomach, and you actually attach these big bags, and then put the fluid in to actually clean your blood. And so I chose that because I just had started online WHS.
Yeah.
And I was setting up all my network, and I had agents right across Australia, some in Tasmania, some in Melbourne, some in Queensland. So therefore, I'd be travelling down to Tasmania, uh, and obviously I need to take, if I was there for a couple of days, I need to take all these boxes. So this Baxter, who's the main people that supply the fluid, you ring them up, and this lovely lady, she always was, and she knew I was busy and I was still working, kind of thing. And I said, look, Ros, I'm going down to Tasmania. Can you actually get this delivered at this hotel? They deliver it at the hotel. There's no charge. So I fly down. Well, obviously, then I do dialysis before I leave to go get on the plane. So go to the airport, get on the plane, fly down to Tasmania, basically do dialysis in the disabled toilet. So, which is sometimes I had to do that, a couple of times when I was flying around everywhere. So, which is kind of a little bit daunting. You're doing dialysis in a toilet, which is not the cleanest place in the world. So you really had to
Yeah.
make sure that you were stringent. But people bashing on the door because you're in there, because each session takes 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're bashing on the door trying to get into this disabled toilet. It's stuff that I had to do. And then the agent would pick me up, and then we drive out to the clients that they set up. I do the presentation. Then we drive back. I do dialysis in the back seat of their car on the way home, or whatever it may be, or in the hotel room, depending how far away it was. And so you have to and this is like, I started doing talks in front of dialysis patients at Blacktown. They asked me to do that because obviously I was still doing all these things and traveling around doing, Perth and everywhere. And they're just going like, you know, can you actually come do talks in front of these people about to go on dialysis and who are on dialysis? And I said, yeah, sure. So, and I remember it clearly, like it was at Blacktown Renal Clinic, and there was this couple up the back, and he was this big, tough guy, but he was bawling his eyes out, and his wife was with him, and she goes, "Oh, I'm just wondering, yeah, can my husband still work?" And I said, "Oh, what does he do?" And she goes, "Oh, he's a truck driver." I said, "Well, of course he can still work." I said, basically at the end of the day, he has to stop every 4 hours for chain of responsibility laws relating to driver fatigue. So when he actually stops, he can do his session. So therefore he can actually still do it. So you're just going to make it part of your day. As I say
Yeah.
when I say to these people, when you get up in the morning, you have breakfast, you're doing dialysis. So because you're just having breakfast as it is. And then at lunchtime, you're having lunch, you do dialysis. You're not doing anything other than eating.
Yeah.
So, and then after you finish work, you come home and basically you sit down, you're watching the TV, you do dialysis. And then before you go to bed, you're still watching TV, you do dialysis, and your 4 sessions are done. So, and if you make it part of your day, and just like with anything, if you make it a routine, then it doesn't become a burden.
Yeah.
So, and I had one lady there, like she's a lovely old lady. She goes, "Can I go over to the shops?" Literally, she asked me, "Can she go over to the shops?" And I said, "Oh, what was your name?" And she goes, "Mary." I went, "Mary, I just come back from Tasmania
Yeah.
yesterday." So, and they went, "Oh." And I said, "Because I made it part of my routine." And I just fitted it around. And I said, if you organize yourself and all that kind of stuff, you can do it. If they do dialysis during the arm, there's a hospital down there that they can actually go to and book themselves in. They just book it early. But I chose the perineal, which is through the stomach, and it just made it more flexible that I could actually do it wherever I could.
Well, I imagine a lot of people they get a condition like that and they lean into it as and that becomes their entire identity and their entire excuse for why they're not
Yep.
doing exactly what they want to do. But it's
Yep.
that's really what I really pulled from that, Phil. That you didn't make it your identity; you just made it a necessity
Yep.
of what was needed. And also, people hear 350 stitches and can't even imagine what's the hardest part of physically surviving? Because you've got the dialysis as well as the stitches. It's a
Yeah, well, so the dialysis was first, and then I had a kidney transplant in 2012. So, but when I was on dialysis, I made a couple of errors which nearly killed me actually. So one I did actually die, and I was revived, and then the other one was where as I won't tell the story, but it was quite gruesome kind of thing, and
yeah,
I just survived that as well.
yeah,
And then you're looking at, thankfully, I got the gift of life in 2012, December 16th,
yeah,
and then you're looking at um, the, the guy who was my physician was the number one renal physician in the world, Professor Jeremy Chapman, unbelievable man. So he said, I think it's time that we get you a kidney. And I was in hospital at that stage there with pneumonia, but I just got released. I went home. So I was at that stage there. I was living by myself, and my father was sick at that stage there, and anyway, the phone rang at like 6 o'clock in the morning on the Sunday. So I got home on the Saturday. The phone rang at 6 o'clock in the morning on the Sunday, and I've gone, who's ringing me up at 6 o'clock in the morning? But I thought it might be something to do with dad, mum ringing me up. So I pick up the phone. They said, "Oh, Phil Bamford." I said, "Yes." And they said, "We've got a kidney here for you. If you can get here within an hour, it's yours." I've gone, "No worries." So at that stage there, I did have my two daughters because I hadn't seen them for a period of time because I was in hospital. So I rang up my ex-wife. She come pick up the girls straight away, which was great because we had a very amicable agreement kind of thing. I don't like arguing. So she picked up the girls, got straight to Westmead Hospital, and literally you walk in there, they go, "For Bamford, yeah, okay, in here, sit down, lay down, get all your stuff off. You're on this bed," and then they're pushing you down the hall, and it's just going like it's a blur. And then you're literally pushed into the surgery, and then you wake up, like 8 hours later, kind of thing, and you're
yeah,
just going like, "Where are you?" So but when you're on dialysis, there's a lot of side effects. So one of those side effects is that uh, basically you don't pass any urine anymore, right?
yeah,
So everything kind of stops. So that's mentally that was very very tough. So it and but it was amazing. You got a new kidney, and then all of a sudden everything's working again, and you just it. I don't think you realize it. The first time I actually had to go to the toilet for a wee, it was
yeah,
one of the best feelings of my life because I've just gone like, hang on a sec, I haven't been able to do this for 4 years. So
yeah,
and then basically just going, wow, this kidney was, and it was supposed to be a perfect match. I've had it now 13 years coming up to this December. So, but it is kind of now that same disease. It was a hereditary disease that attacked it in the first place. And my eldest brother has now got the same disease, and he's actually on dialysis as well. So it's a hereditary through our family. But this disease is now attacking it again. So there's going to be a period of time that I will go back on dialysis and do
yeah.
it all again, which, I mean, at the end of the day, I'll just have to make it part of my routine again. So,
Yeah, well, it seems like you always just bounce back, mate. There's what the divine powers, the beast say, you're not done yet, Phil. Get back
exactly.
there.
There's been so many times in my life that things like it could have killed me or something like that, but it hasn't. So I'm just going like, okay, I'm meant to be here for a reason. Keep on
Yeah,
going. So
that's good. And so many people feel stuck after one failure, after one thing that happens.
yeah,
What do you say to them?
what I say is, don't ever lose that dream, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who you think are big businessmen and they've made all this money and all that kind of stuff. Believe me, they've failed multiple times as well. So, and
Yeah,
you've got to. I mean, not many people actually create something and do something, and then all of a sudden they're a multimillionaire out of one idea. That very rarely happens.
Yeah,
So nearly like
100%.
any kind of businessman or entrepreneur, you'll see that they fail and fail and fail, but it's the ones that get up and keep on going that aren't the failures. They're the success stories because they keep on trying.
Yeah, well, I think well, even when you get up there, there's still challenges because even when you were running the successful businesses, there was still
Yeah,
different things happening to you that people just don't see, and that's why we love these conversations because it shows that everyone has things going on.
yeah,
Is even as ReferUs is building, because we're going to talk about ReferUs now. People see this growing success now, and they'll look at Phil and they'll go, Phil's had no issues. He's just all of a sudden he's woken
yeah.
up and everything's great, and the business is building. But why referrals? Why is ReferUs so important to you personally?
It's well, one, like Justin and I created it, and we're very much customer service orientated, and but also obviously, you know, we're both very entrepreneurial, and um, and I had like agents right across Australia, as I mentioned, and they got commissions, and but I didn't have a system, and he Justin was the same, and then like we got together and gone like, hang on a sec, why don't we actually create a system that actually manages all this? So, and that's where Refer Us kind of come from. And and then you're looking at we did start it, you know, and back a while ago, and then and then things happened, uh, which was some of the people that we got to actually to develop it kind of messed it up a bit, and then it all went kind of on the shelf kind of thing. So then it but after I moved on from online WHS, the first thing I did is I rang up Justin and said, okay, let's get this thing and let's make it better. So so redesigned it and all that kind of stuff because like I'm the architect of creating things, and then between him and me we create how it was to be. Like I'll give an example of that. Like it's when we created it, registers and so forth. But he goes, yeah, but it looks crappy on the mobile phone. It looks really, really poor. It was, yeah, you're right. It looks crap. So he says, oh, a vintage kind of like boxes and all that kind of stuff. So that's when I looked up some other directories and I saw these nice, neat ones, and I went, okay, we'll create it like this. And then so we kind of bounce off each other and in creating this product. And the reason being trying to make it as easy as possible for the end user. So, because referrals are out there and people are getting referred all the time, but it's not formalized. And not only that, let's just say, for example, if you want to refer someone and you want to refer me, but you mightn't have my email address. You might have my phone number, but not email address or whatever it may be. Whereas the system, literally, if someone wanted to refer me, for an example, all they've got to do if I'm in the Refer Us network, go to my business and then just enter the person who they're referring, first name, last name, email address, phone number, 4 fields, and then go send. It sends me off that referral to say, hey, this has been sent by Daniel. So you get an email, that the referrer gets an email, and I get an email. So everyone gets everyone's details. I ring up the person, say, hey, you've been referred to me by Daniel. Yeah, boom. And then basically I reward you. So it's that reward can be cash, it could be commission, it could be a voucher or freebie. You can set no reward. It's totally up to the business what they want to do.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of making it easier because everything is on their mobile phone. So it's not an app, it's a mobile application. So if people try to look for it in the App Store, they won't find it. It's what you need to do is just go to our website, referusnetwork.com, and then you'll see it there and you sign up, and then you actually sign in via mobile phone, whether it be Apple or Android, with the same username and password, and then you've actually got it on your mobile phone. That's how easy it is.
Yeah,
You're
no,
walking around with a referral system on your phone.
no, it's a great thing. I've always when you guys started showing it to me, I was surprised because it's something that we've always needed, and I think it's a lot of the time. But businesses have tried to do it internally, but they haven't done it very well. Is always the thing. But where do you see Refer Us going over the next few years?
Well, hopefully viral actually.
Yeah.
So it's because like Justin, he's got a big captured audience because of what he does. So it um and you're looking at I've also got a big network as well. It's so between us, we're kind of um, really getting some really good kind of progress and sales, as well as getting in front of some major players. And our big thing is to like literally get over in the US. So it's which we have got some clients over in the US at the moment. We've got clients in New Zealand. There's one lady in New Zealand. She's fantastic. So remembering she only paid 375 for the system because that's all it is. She's got 61 referrers, but she's picked up 6 referrals, and those 6 referrals have given her over $100,000 worth of business. So
Yeah.
for 375 bucks, she wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
So you're looking at um and the thing is that she's doing it the right way. She put a little video on social media. I and she was actually giving the voucher to when she gets the referral, she only gives a $50 bunning voucher, but it's something, right? So
Yeah.
she did a video of her giving this guy a $50 Bunnings voucher saying, I use the ReferUs system, da 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 da. You want to become a referrer for me? Click the link below and then they become a referrer for her. And then if they send a referral, she gives them the reward. So it's just I mean, as Justin would say, it is so simple that, you know, we every business should have it, really.
Oh, they definitely should. Well, from my years of experience in business, there's always a thing. If you don't ask for referrals, you don't get them. So if actually got a
Yeah,
system in place, it's just something that it's a standard part of your marketing mix. Somebody does business with you. A friend says
yeah,
they want to start sending your clients. You sign up your mum and everyone, your friends, your family, and everyone, and then they say,
that's
"Oh,
right.
I know someone. I've got it
Well,
straight here."
yeah, you're signing up your current happy customers because
Yeah,
they already know your service and they love you. So, for an example, instead of seeing something on social media or whatever it may be, and they go, "Oh, yeah, okay, that looks okay," but they never do it, right?
yeah,
But if one of your mates said, "Oh, by the way, you should be using Justin Herald," da 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 da,
yeah,
they're gonna more than likely to do it because you've been referred by a person that's already used his services. So and that's the thing. What we're trying to do here is go, okay, your current happy clients already love you, use them as your best salespeople. So and reward them for it. So and then that way there, like yeah. There's a couple of people. This one other lady, what she's done is if the person actually sends the most referrals in a month, she then gives them a bottle of wine. Now on
yeah,
top of their reward, but just that little kind of
yeah,
thing. Like people, it's not hundreds and thousands of dollars, but people get a bottle of wine or a gift, or they go, I'm going to do that again.
yeah.
So and it's just
It's
and they've
memorable.
already used your service, so they already love you.
And around starting another business, Phil, as well. What would you say to founders who sort of feels like they're too old to start over?
Well, even though you made me feel old when you said, it started at 61, I'm 62 now.
Yeah,
So but like deep down inside, I'm still a kid. So and you just you got to stay youthful and stay enthused and at the end of the day, it's I'll put it this way: after like losing business up these businesses, not from my own fault, from other kind of thing, you're looking at I'm going. I just got to get that one thing that's going to create that, like
yeah,
everyone wants, kind of thing. And but I'm very passionate about Refer Us because I love it,
yeah.
and I think it's the best thing that Justin and I have done. So it's we're both very passionate about it because we feel that it's going to help business as well. So not only you're actually going, okay, we created this, it's fantastic, and you feel proud when someone's using it. But then when that person uses it, like that woman in New Zealand, and she's
Yeah.
made all the success, you go, that's awesome. You know, man, that's really good.
Yeah, well,
So
it is a great platform. You guys have done an amazing job. And how do you sort of
yeah,
handle people doubting you again and again and again, though? It's because it's of going through all those things because you're because I really in our final questions I'm sort of touching on things that people will be curious about because there's a lot of people out
yep,
there that listen and they're looking for that inspiration and that mindset because
yep.
yeah,
Well, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's people who know me know how driven I am. Even like, say, for example, back in my squash days, and when I, was playing first grade squash, and like I was back then. I was working, and this is what I would give advice to anybody: just work your ass off. So it's like I was working at the squash center from 9 till 3, and then I'd have a 3 hour break where I would train, and then I'd work from 6 till 9 on Monday. So that was Monday and Wednesday. Tuesday, I would actually mow lawns for this multimillionaire at from 9 to 4, go straight to the squash court, do an hour of training, and then work behind the counter from 5:30 till literally 1 o'clock in the morning because it was comp squash. Wednesday was the same as Monday. Thursday was playing first grade squash, by the way. So I mowed lawns for this person from 9 to 4, and then I'd go drive to this, go home, rest, plow myself up with some carbohydrates, and play first grade that night. Get home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Friday, I slept in. So it
yeah,
and then, but I worked from 3 in the afternoon till 1 o'clock in the morning because it was comp night again. And then Saturday, I worked from 9 till 5, and then trained after that. And most Sundays I worked as well. So I worked constantly, and because I had a goal, because I wanted to be successful. That's what I
yeah,
wanted to be, and nothing was going to stop me from doing that. And I just kept on going. And like, even when I was playing first grade squash, like all the opposition would know that if we're playing Phil Bamford's team, it because we were in 8 straight grand finals, which is a record, and we won 5, that we were going to be tough to beat, because the reason, because I was just a determined
well,
person.
you are Mr. Perseverance.
Mr. Perseverance.
And it's
So,
yeah, and it is yeah. Well, it's really that for you. It's that consistency and that evidence that you just keep going, and you know you've achieved greatness, and you just want to keep going for that goal. It's great stuff. And we're down to our last question of the interview,
yep,
and this is the most important question because it ends up on one of our reels as we
yep.
go. And Phil, if attention is the currency, what should people stop wasting it on and start investing it in?
Well, basically, I would actually say, stop wasting sitting around doing nothing. Just, your attention should be on your dream, and your dream. And to achieve that dream, you've actually got to plan and set goals. And if you don't do that, you haven't got the attention to detail of what you want to achieve. So, and a lot of people lose sight of what they want to do and achieve. And if they hit a hiccup, then all of a sudden they lose attention. Whereas they should, no matter if you get knocked down, get your attention back and go, that's what I'm trying to achieve. This is how I got to do it. Forget about what's happened in the past. You can't do nothing about it. You can do nothing about going on dialysis, and with the stitches and all that kind of stuff and so forth. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just the side effects of the anti-rejection drugs. So my intention is, okay, go get it done, get it out, and that kind of stuff. Didn't stop me working. Other people would go, oh yeah, I can actually lay back and have a couple of days off because I've got 15 stitches in my head. Whereas I went back to work literally the next day. So with 15 stitches in my head. So because I was determined to make that business a success.
Definitely, yeah. Well, a lot of people would as a would use it as their identity and their excuse, but Phil
Yeah.
definitely doesn't. Phil, your story is a masterclass in grit, resilience, and refusing to stay down. Listeners, if you want to see what Phil is building now, there's going to be a link in the description, so you can jump through there to the ReferUs Network. And remember, no matter how many times you're knocked down, you can get back up because perseverance is yours to claim. Thank you again, Phil, for joining us, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Attention is the Currency.
Thanks, Daniel. Ta.